Hello, everyone, and welcome into Matazone HD Sportsnet, presented by the JMU Alumni Association. I'm Curt Dudley, and I'm joined today by Aaron Hoover as we're just on the eve of the 2016 JMU Diamond Duke baseball season. And Aaron, you're one of the more seasoned veterans, we'll say, a fifth-year senior, of course, of James Madison. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But describe to me, if you would, first of all, obviously a new coaching staff. What's the dynamics like with this pitching staff right now as you go into this new year?
I think the most exciting thing was that how many guys we returned this year. So you mentioned experience. This staff has definitely been there and done that. So hopefully with the new leadership of the coaches on top of that experience of bringing back so many guys that we should really have a solid base this year coming out of the pen and starters.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, it is a new staff, and you have a new pitching coach in Jimmy Jackson. And I'm sure that he's already trying to instill what his philosophy is as a pitching coach. What kind of things can you tell us that he is presenting to the staff as a whole? What's kind of pounding into you right now?
Well, one of the first things he says, we're going to strike out a lot of people. So that's always fun. On top of that, though, he's been doing a great job of making it kind of personal basis, a pitcher-by-pitcher basis. I mean, obviously it's tough for them. They come in and they have a whole staff of 15, 16 guys that he has to learn all their habits and all the way that they pitches because he came in, obviously he didn't recruit any of us. So he's had to come in and had to learn each person. So throughout the fall, he really focused on learning each person's repertoire of their pitches and little things to work on here or there. And then as the fall moved on and now before the season started, he's been trying to work on us pitcher by pitcher and kind of focus on the little things.
Customizing each pitcher, I guess, would be one way of putting it. How has he worked with you individually? Are there things that he has maybe tweaked in your game a little bit at this point?
One of the biggest things, it moved me to the other side of the rubber. So one of the things we talked at, he's a big film guy. We've been trying to get recording of hitters and pitchers as much as possible. One of the things he looked at the most for me personally is previously I was on the third base side of the rubber, and we looked at my release point of where I was throwing, and it was on the third base side of the rubber. My release point was basically right down the middle of the mound. So it was, from a hitting perspective, it's going to be always splitting them out. So we switched to the first base side of the rubber. It's now a little bit of a different angle coming into righties and releasing behind lefties too. So that was one of the first things we did together.
As I mentioned, you're one of the seniors on this team, a redshirt senior, so you've been around quite a bit. Obviously, with that, there comes leadership roles. How do you anticipate that you will lead this team, and what would be your approach to leading, particularly with the pitching staff, we'll say?
I've always kind of been a lead by example guy. I know that my other captains feel the same way, that kind of talk is cheap when it comes down to it. It's what you can do on the field and how you carry yourself as a person in the classroom as well as on the practice field. So.
2013, a tough time for you. That's when you got hurt, I understand. And, of course, can you take us through a little bit of that rehabilitation and the difficulties, the challenges that were presented as you tried to come back from an injury?
Yeah, and I mean, as anyone who's been taken away from their sport for a while can tell you, it's not an easy process. It was a little more strange just because of the type of injury it was with a blood clot and the surgery that happened. But my surgery was over the summer, so the first kind of rehab was on my own. Then we came back here in the fall with our training staff. A lot of mobility stuff, a lot of strengthening the area where the surgery was and kind of working out scar tissue. So while I did miss half that 2013 season, it was nice that I was able to get back for the 2014 season and obviously use the red shirt for the year before. So.
What are your personal as well as the team goals here in 2016 as you're going into your final season as a Diamond Duke?
Well, our team goals, we're a winning record this year. The goal is to make it to the conference tournament and finally to bring home a conference championship. So we've done a great job with Coach Ike about setting ourselves up to accomplish the goals that we have as a team and set realistic goals that we can hopefully reach and set the stage for the upcoming years.
All right, well, you've been in 62 ball games for the Dukes of James Madison. May you appear in many more this year on the Hill for JMU. Best of luck this season.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, Aaron Hoover, one of the seniors on the pitching staff at James Madison University.